Thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope podcast. I'm back with more WNBA news. Now, it seems that Angel Reese is leaving Chicago. Now, the Sky GM was asked about the future of Angel Reese in Chicago, and he said that until he hears differently, she's, you know, in Chicago. She's a Chicago Sky. So now, to me, this wasn't a statement of clarity or statement of certainty or statement of reassurance that they want her there. To me, it's just saying like until somebody comes up with an offer, she's going to be in Chicago. Now, I don't think that Chicago has done right by her, in my opinion, and I'll get into that into a little bit. But basically, the statement the GM was saying is that we're going to take all offers into consideration, and we don't want to lack her trade value by saying that she's on the market because people just give you pennies on the dollar opposed to giving you a dollar on a dollar or even 50 cents on a dollar. So I think they're trying to get to that point where um, they're trying to get the most trade value, and this is probably the highest it's going to be right now, just because of her ability to only be not only be box office but to rebound, and she even has picking up on the scoring end. And she's more of a triple to double threat now than she used to be. She figured the game out and figured the speed out. So she's definitely made those adjustments and made those improvements. So her trade value is at an all time high right now, even though with the injuries that she had this past year. But I think some of that was just sulking and just not wanting to be there just because they didn't build around her properly. But they don't want to lessen that trade value. Of course, it makes sense just to have it high and then just get what you can get because they did not build that team correctly. And Chicago's only attraction right now is Angel Reese as far as the sky goes because Camila Cardoso, I love her for what she does in the post, but she's not box office to see. She's not, you know, game changing. She doesn't affect the game as much, and they got certain pieces around that. But most of the time, Kia Nurse and things like that. But you don't know most of their players. You can name them off of the street. Now, Angel Reese has that ability, and her play has picked up so much. But I think even coming in, being such a polarizing and controversial athlete, they knew that she would bring the haters and the fans and it would create revenue for them. And I think it's about the revenue, similar to what the Dallas Cowboys are doing. Now, she does create that good, bad dynamic in the league, which creates for that box appeal, office appeal. And she addressed that, saying she'll be the bad guy if it helps women's basketball and make it more lucrative for them and make it up the sport, which she was being a good sport about that. Because most people don't like playing that role. Some people do if you know where it's going to go. But she's the only talent really that they have. And I say they didn't build that team right because they didn't let the chemistry build. And that starts off with the head coach. The head coach now, I think he's a good coach. It's just he doesn't have a lot of pieces. It's only so much he can do. But nevertheless, I think they should have never let Witherspoon go. Unfortunately, they let her go too early, I believe. She wasn't winning at the rate that she could have won, but they just got the pieces. And, they just got Cardoso. They just had got Angel Reese. They just was, mixing in with Kennedy Carter, which Kennedy Carter, they shouldn't let go either because she was the primary scorer. She was the only person that can get a shot off back then. She was the only person that had the toughness and had the backbone that Angel Reese's rookie year. So I don't think they should ever let her go as well. And then you had you know, I think they was trying to create with Cardoso and Angel Reese that Tim Duncan, David Robinson tag team, the Twin Towers look. Now that worked back in the old school NBA, and WNBA is kind of in that same type of period where the big man or the player is still important. But nevertheless, I think they just didn't think it out right because you didn't have a point guard to go with that. You had Kennedy Carter, but you let her go. Then you had the injuries to Angel Reese and Cardoso going back and forth. So, and you didn't put necessarily the pieces around to support that type of play. So it didn't make much sense. The the day of the post guy being the dominant is not really lucrative like it used to be. I remember the last time I seen it really work was Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins, but the injuries kind of plagued them around, and then DeMarcus got traded and other stuff happened. So it's just not a good formula for success because they could have had a great point guard to go with that. They have Haley Van Lith now, but she's in and out of the lineup, and is yet to see what she'll be. But I think she has that toughness of a Kennedy Carter type. But nevertheless, I don't think that they've built that team right. But the biggest question is if she where would she go if if she will trade it, where would she go? I think every team could use a rebound in her skill set. Now she will probably need a team that's kind of, needs her type to take over probably, or she can probably just go back to the role where she had when she was in her rookie year, where she was just rebounding, play some great defense, and just be the energy person for the team. Now, every team could use that type of skill set, but if you pair her with pair her with Asia Wilson on the Aces, I think you'll still get a better version of her and Cardoso, what they have in the sky, and I think she'll take a back seat to Asia because Asia's such a great talent and she is the best player in the league right now. So I think that would make sense because, and then you have a veteran head coach, and then you have all the other pieces that they have. I think that would make a good fit. Now, money wise, I don't know what they'll be able to do, but or if you pair her with a Nafisha Collier in Minnesota, she has that leadership, but she's more, I think she'll be more vocal and Angel will take a back seat to her as well. Mix it with a Courtney Williams and um, Kayla McBride, K Mac. I think they'll do well. But she will need to go to a team with, I think, veterans and a certain pedigree. I don't think she needs to be, so to speak, the smartest person in the room. I think she needs to be one of the smartest people in the room to add their voice. But in Chicago, I think she's all they have. So she's still young, trying to figure it out. But I don't think that she needs to, so to speak, be the unquestioned leader. I think she needs to take a back seat to somebody that's a leader, so she can learn how to lead, and then she can eventually get her own team that way. But it's only so many teams she can do that with. I mean, maybe New York Liberty, she can do that because they just lost last night, and they had a tragic season just with the injuries and the back and forth, and just trying to figure it out. But I think that leadership, and then with her lifestyle, being in New York would be great for her. So I wouldn't be opposed to her going to New York with those core players, but they might lose some of those core players if you bring in Angel Reese because you won't be able to keep all that talent for all that money. So, but this is a developing story, and I'll keep an eye on it. And then until next time, I'll see you next time.